Farm Progress Show here in Decatur. I'm Rhiannon Branch with Brownfield Ag News, and we are in booth 605. Right now, I have Chris Gould, Illinois Corn Growers Association District 1 Director, and Jeff O'Connor, and at-large Director for the Illinois Soybean Association. And this time we're going to talk a little bit about
groups plus Farm Bureau, but the campaign itself is an effort to educate and connect with eaters, voters, consumers, to let them know what we do, how we do it, and why we do it.
Explain a little better who we are and why it is we do and the care we put into it.
The Illinois farm families. Any other groups that are involved?
Yeah, there is also pork, dairy. Get everybody? I think I got everybody plus Farm Bureau.
Very good. So definitely a collaborative effort.
Correct.
So I guess, first of all, what was it like going on there?
Well, early on, we were featured on the website, watchusgrow.org, but over time, have, I don't know, with those that are less familiar with what we do.
Let's both have a main message coming from We Are the 96. What does that 96% mean, and why was the campaign created?
This is a campaign that actually my wife and I have talked about numerous times whenever we see it. My wife did not come from a farm background, but been on the farm for 30 years. Farms that operated by farmers, and so it provides me these points of clarity. They may have different financial operating structures that might make us something other than just privately owned. My farm's small.
96% of the farms in Illinois are operated by families. That's the point.
So I guess, why is it important? Why do you guys feel like
We know those who are producing it? We every day we care about what we do there, whether it's grains. We care about what we
with a non-farmer about how you farm, or why you make the decisions you make, whether that be through the campaign or just in general.
it it can be challenging to think of what the most impactful is. Retired people back in our community, I was talking about, and knowing that generationally they've seen a lot of changes if they've been in that community forever. When that presentation was done, I had one comment. He just simply asked, "Is it true that many farms about who was owning and operating these farms?" Answer that no. Wherever that information is coming from, that is not grounded in truth. Almost every farm you see, every field that you see operated as you drive through the countryside, whether you do that daily or weekly, is being operated. That's probably been on that land for a generation or two. And there was great relief for her to hear that. It was to hear that from a non-typical target audience, that this was someone who was retired. That message needs to be. It was great to share that, and very accepting of the answers I had. Great amount of trust.
An example of a conversation you've had?
Oh gosh, I live and farm on the western edge of suburbia of Chicago, and all of my friends, none of my friends farm. So I'm constantly talking. So when you talk to someone and they learn that you farm, and they leave like, oh, or family farms, that is by far the widespread misconception that corporate, I don't know what a corporate states, and Illinois in particular, and that's clearly just not.
When we have those people actions, just as questions from non-farm people, I think the other thing that they ask as well, Chris, is how many generations are you? And I'd never dwell on that point, because maybe the generations before me did a poor job. They want to know because there's some connectivity, and then they always want to ask, do you have kids that are coming back to the farm? To hear about that connectivity and just continuing for the land and the product. And I am always surprised by that, and I'm glad they asked the question.
So would you say, how's the campaign itself open from the farmer angle or the non-farmer angle?
Gosh, I think that's if there's a way to actually measure that, but it's at least a conversation starter. And so if you can have these conversations, things work, and why things work, I think that's probably a victory for us.
It's a good campaign as well for the farmers, because farmers are seeing this. We are the 96 as well, and it gives us an opportunity when talking to a farmer to make them aware that you need to be sharing that towards a specific audience, but there's also an audience in the farmers who are.
We're part of a recent tour. Want to touch on that experience?
Sure. A couple Saturdays ago, Illinois Farm Families hosted a tour for Chicago influencers, and there was a stop at a dairy farm, Titus's dairy farm, and learned about do, and then they stopped at our farm to learn mostly about do to try to sustainably grow a good crop. And then in addition, we had lunch there, and then they stopped at Larson's Dairy Farm, which is not far away, and learned about a very well received. I think they were very interested in our message and what we were trying to explain to them, and how we do things. So I think that was a really interesting day for us.
Couple on that topic.
What I value about the program as a value towards farmers is that say beef, pork, dairy value, and advocacy. It's not a just one effort and you stop. It is a continuing effort because the way I see it, as we continue to move forward, we're only going to have more questions about how things are built. Is it safe? Is it good for my family? They're all questions. So we are working on their behalf, and as using those checkoff dollars to do it, we're promoting the industry in the image that we want, which is accurate, and that it's safe. That message should never stop.
That was well said, and maybe at being repetitive, I would say that we have a chance to either tell our way we want it told, we can let somebody tell our story for us, and I prefer that we tell our story.
Definitely. Well, we've talked a lot about the We Are the 96 campaign, what you guys have done with it so far. To wrap things on, what is upcoming for the campaign? What can folks expect to see from it here moving forward after the Farm Progress Show?
Sure. During the month of October, relationship with Casey's, there's a sticker put on every Casey's box of pizza that's sold during the month of October to help spread the news a little bit. And then the Illinois Places are also sponsoring the IHSA football championships. And so there's going to be some messaging there as well as some Casey's interaction with championships.
Very good. Anything else, anything that either of you would like to add about the campaign that we didn't touch on?
No, I don't.
All good.
Very good. Well, Chris, Jeff, I really appreciate your time today. I'll let you guys step aside. We got other folks who are going to join us up here at the table. Again, we are live from the Farm Progress Show in Decatur at booth number 6, Growers and Illinois Corn Association. Right now, Don Gwinnett, who is the District 12 Illinois Corn Association, and we have Ron Kindred, who is the ISA chairman and district doing this afternoon.
Doing great. Enjoy comfortable, cool weather.
Yes, same here. It's just a wonderful day.
You dialed that up just for us, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Perfect weather for them right at.
Definitely, and we hope folks can continue to join us today and tomorrow as well here in the booth. Well, you guys are kind of up the series for us today, and we've heard about so many priorities and projects throughout the day that are featured here at the Farm Progress Show. It's obviously very important that you guys are here to connect with your members. What are you hoping, each of you individually, what are you hoping visitors get when they visit this exhibit? What are you hoping they take away?
One of the things we hope is that they have an opportunity to interact with who are their elected representatives of their checkoff money and their association dues, and give an opportunity to visit with them, hear about the problems in their area or their concerns, and also an opportunity to see how we are spending the checkoff money and let them know how they and have a say being done with their resources, and we can tell the story of what we are doing with it already.
Ron?
Yeah, I think we're the same place. We want we want them to know who we are as far as directors, and we want them to get to know this. We have a tremendous staff on board, and they're such an asset for us, and they're working on behalf of Illinois soybean farmers, and they're doing a great job. And I think the interaction is tremendous, and we want to showcase kind of the future. And I think they can learn all that here in this tent, and they can sitting on the non-checkoff side, which is just as important. I'm a policy guy, but just as important as the checkoff dollars.
Well, Ron, you read my mind because we have talked about several of those priorities throughout the day, and some of these will overlap, but I'd like for each of you to just touch on what are your top priorities moving forward for the organization, and we can start with corn.
Well, the Generation Fuels Act is very important to the corn industry in Illinois and the ethanol industry in the country, so very, very high political priorities we have in Washington, D.C. We 20 sponsors, and we hope that the Next Generation Fuels Act gets a hearing and gets called in the next session of Congress. Of course, we're like the soybeans, always in trade. A lot of the corn and soybeans in Illinois is exported and exported products, ethanol, the corn itself. And going right along with trade is locks and dams, the Mississippi River, the Ohio, our transportation system. The corn and soybeans work a lot with railroads and highways and bridges and infrastructure. So trade would be another issue. One of the issues that is common to both of us also is quality and stewardship. I think a lot of people know that the nutrient loss reduction is important to Illinois, that nitrogen and phosphorus are very important, and that in 2025 we have our 10-year checkup on nutrient loss reduction strategy. Some of these topics like that are very important to us.
I'm sure some of those are the same, Ron, but go ahead and go through what the top priorities are moving forward for soybeans.
Some of them are the same, but we do have some different ones as well. The Farm Bill is obviously the top of the list for us right now because we're trying Farm Bill done by the end of the year. Within that, we want the crop insurance protected. That's our best risk management tool that we have to use today. So we want that protected, but we also want program funds. They have been changed for over 20 years, and for every dollar that's invested, it's a big win. Programs, those two programs are big wins for us, and so we'd like to see though we need to continue to apply the pressure. You know, get some of these community projects going so we can continue to export it. So trade is a very, very important aspect that we look at on a day in, day out basis. But one of our in potential big market for not only soybeans, but for corn on the alcohol side as well. So just some of the things we're looking at, we're always looking the big overarching enhanced productivity, which enhances and improves profitability.
Into the farm progress show this week, but if they're not able to make it out to the show, how else might they
all have websites, and they can go on the corn website, communicating with either the organization through the staff or their locally represented or locally members. I welcome calls, and people do tell me what they think about how we're spending the checkoff money or the policy in government policies. So we're available, and this is a good opportunity. And there's the whole time I've been involved, I've heard from corn and soybean farmers is most of us are like to see us working together and on issues where we can work together. If they came in here, they would be pleased, and they would be pleased with the organization and the use of the checkoff funds.
Their district, and there's 6 large directors on our board. So if they're more comfortable, know somebody, people in the office that are experts in different areas that can answer a lot of questions for the farmers may have, or I'd like to tag on to what Don said as far as Illinois corn and Illinois soybean being under the same tent. You know, he said it makes farmers happy. It makes me happy. It makes Don happy.
I would also say about those people listening that we need we need future board members, we need future staff people. You might connect with us, and we have some training programs, and there will be. We have 3-year terms, so on the corn growers, and find out what we're doing, and then take your place in making the decisions and moving the organization ahead. So
maybe an example of what you're most proud of based on your years of volunteer service with the organizations, kind of give folks who might be interested in leadership an idea of some of the
and education, but I'm also proud of the quality of leadership and the quality of the young people that we're making today, and the issues that are there. It's their future. It's the young says that they want to leave it better than they found it, and that's our goal too. So the thing I'm proud of is we're to them and knowing it's in good hands.
Ron?
I think I'm most proud of the passion that they have to do what's right for Illinois, to states, and we want to be the leader, and take it for granted sometimes, but it doesn't come without work, and I think we have to have the passion, or else we're not, and we have to carry. They want to make the best use of those check-off monies that they can, and invest them.
Yeah, I would just say when you get beyond the state level and into national issues and national policy, they tend to listen because they know Illinois or agriculture best for Illinois and for the membership, and so I'm very, very proud of that Illinois has a reputation for knowledge and moving things ahead. So these organizations have a long history.
Contributors out there who feel somewhat distant from the organization, is there anything you'd like to say to them on how they can be involved, or help them feel more?
Anytime, I love to talk to people about their concerns, because most of the time they're concerned about something. So usually we can talk out a misunderstanding, and then they're pleased with.
They need to talk with us as directors, because we're the people that we're the farmers out here. There are programs that we invest in that we see the fruits of those investments, and there's lot of people not knowing what to do to the farmer, and I think that's going to be
Having today, and as we enter the month of September, I find it hard to sit down with a couple of farmers and not ask, how are the crops? And a little bit of a crop update.
Well, I live along the Wabash River, corn, soybeans, wheat, double crop beans, milo, and we'll meet our APH, I think. We have a pretty, the soybean crop, I think, is still out. We're pretty dry. A good soaking rain, disease pressure. So I would say a soybean harvest will start in about 3 weeks. So a lot of the early beans need standability is an issue with corn, and I think a lot of guys had to storm early. We have a lot of elbow corn, so I think harvest everybody will be running by the 1st of October, and in some places probably the 20th. But I'm expecting a good harvest, and soybean, a good rain would still help the soybean.
We our corn is pretty good, I think. It's not going to be as good as last year. We had exceptional corn crop last year. It's not going to be quite that good. We had too much stress, I think. But we've got good potential out there on the